it was mentioned that authors like Sholem Aleichem did not mention Ukrainians. They talk about Russians. And that is the reality really of my ancestors that come from two, different branches, one from an area called Kherson or Gerson, and from, just the name escapes, the area that is a small republic that was half Moldavian, half Jewish, and between Bessarabia. Lots of Jews came from there. And in reality, my grandparents spoke Yiddish as their main language and Russian. Ukrainian was not part of the people that they knew. And how do I know that they didn't know Ukrainians? Because after reading Unquiet Flaunts the Dawn, in which there is the description of the Cossacks' pogroms, I asked my grandparents and my mother, was that their reality? She says, well, no, we had pogroms, but they were not the Cossacks. They were others, because, I don't know, Ukrainians didn't seem to be part of their world, where they lived. So my question is, and I am happy actually when we talk about Ukrainians, ethnic Ukrainians, I know what we are speaking about. People that speak the Ukrainian language, have a particular church and cultural heritage that I should know more than I know, I guess, but I understand the meaning of it. But what is Ukrainian? What is territorial Ukrainian now? I know what is now, but what was in the 19th century? Was it the same as now? Is Kherson and the area north of Odesa Ukraine then? And that's the reason maybe Sholem Aleichem didn't mention Ukrainians. Maybe there were not Ukrainians there. I don't know. That's my question.
I think the object of this book was a reconciliation between Jews and Ukrainians, even though both of the groups were Jewish. Yesterday, a lady stood up and said there was an elephant in the room. And I think the crowd knew very well what she was talking about. I would say to you that what should happen in the Ukraine may be what happened in South Africa, where Nelson Mandela was not looking for revenge, and the white people were not looking for domination. The Ukrainian people, and maybe they've even started this in Babyn Yar, to acknowledge to the Jews what happened there, and the Jews should say, we forgive you and let's start anew. That, to me, without reading the book, of course, is what may be missing.
We are here in a mixed audience. Some of us are students, some of us are not students, but professional students of scholarship or scholars. And then we are here with people who are not part of the scholarly world. And so that's why it's useful to say now what I'm going to say. The first thing is that I'm unaware of any scholar who would have the pretension to believe that he or she are writing a definitive work. Scholarship by definition is not definitive. Scholarship is nothing but an effort on the part of an individual or individuals to find out more about a particular topic and contribute to the store of knowledge. There is no such thing as a definitive work. Some would say it might be considered in the category of something that everyone has to read as a starting point to learn more. But there's no such thing, and certainly not anyone serious is going to start off thinking, we're writing the definitive work. Of course not. Aside from the fact, people, this is a popular book. This is not meant for scholars. This is meant for the public at large, written by scholars in a popular language. And as someone mentioned last night, shockingly, no footnotes. Well, yeah, of course, no footnotes. There are serious essays or serious books written without footnotes. It was done deliberately. It was done deliberately to provoke already the kind of discussion that is being provoked right here. This book also did not and could not, we can have the pretension of we are going to be a court of reconciliation, that we're somehow going to, through a book, bring people together. But the gentleman in the back posed an excellent question. Hasn't read the book? Please go out, get it, read it, because you've already started the process without even reading the book. That is, the book hopefully will provoke individuals who have read it to think about things that they hadn't thought about before, and in the process learn about some of their neighbors or their friends or whatever that they didn't even dream of. So please, you've already started the process without reading the book. The gentleman is showing you the way. We're going to close this session. The books are available outside. Thank you.
But perhaps our colleagues, wait, we're not closing yet. Maybe our colleagues had something more to add to respond to any of the questions.
One question about the general theme of the book. Do you see any major differences in the ways in which Ukrainians and Jews approach the possibilities of reconciliation today?
Let me say something which a lot of people are not going to like. But that's okay. Or let's put it this way, not agree with. And then some of them may not even like my saying it. And I've said it before, and I've gotten strong reaction. The problem of strained relations, so-called, between Jews and Ukrainians is a phenomenon of diaspora. All diasporas live in the past. Their mindset stops from the moment that they or their parents or their grandparents left the land from which they left, and either they do one of two things. They adapt and assimilate totally to the society in which they live, whether it's the United States or Australia or England or Canada, and forget the past, because we're Canadians. Who needs this crap from the past, from another place? But then there are others who are weaned by their parents, by their grandparents, by themselves, rediscovering at some point. But they have a very distorted image because they never lived what went on, in the past, and they don't even have a clue of what these societies are. There is no problem, actually, between Jews and Ukrainians in Ukraine today. First and foremost, they don't even think in these categories to begin with. How can you have a problem when you don't even think in these categories? What is there to reconcile? The only thing that there is to, if you will, reconcile is for Ukrainian citizens of whatever ethno-linguistic background to build a civic society in which they identify with their country. And part of building that civic society is looking at all aspects of its past, the good and the bad, and paying due respect to Crimean Tatars if they suffered, to Jews if they suffered, to Poles, which they should be doing if they suffered on the territory of Ukraine, and to ethnic Ukraine, et cetera, et cetera. But this is not even, I've even used these, I've slipped into the dialogue here and used ethnic categories. No, we are all one people living in one country. We are concerned with building our country, with self-respect for our country as a country, and that all the events have to be looked at, should be remembered, regardless of ethnic distinction. So The whole question of reconciliation or kind of fixing poor relations between groups. This is Ukraine of 2016. This is not Ukraine of 1944 or 1917 or the end of the 19th century.
Any other final comments, remarks? In that case, now we really can thank our speakers, and I welcome you all to the reception.